Muy buenos días a todas las personas que están conectadas. Mi nombre es Camila Flores, hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales y hoy estaremos realizando un webinar con University of Durham y hoy nos acompaña Ana Costea, quien estará realizando la presentación. Y quería recordarles que con esta universidad tenemos un convenio de una beca del 100% para un beneficiario de Colfuturo y un descuento del 20% para todos los demás estudiantes, y no aplica para los programas de MBA. Ana María, thank you so much for being here and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Hey, hola a todos. It's a pleasure to be here today, and thank you very much for taking the time to log in and sit through this presentation. I'm Ana. I'm the International Officer for Latin America at Durham University. I was a student myself at Durham for undergraduate and postgraduate studies. So I loved it so much, I never left, basically. I come from Romania, so I was a non-UK student as well. And I'm very excited to be here today to share with you information about Durham and my own experience at Durham. And my colleague Martin, who couldn't make it last minute due to unforeseen circumstances, but I will cover his part as well. And you'll have his contact details at the end in case you have questions for him. So for today, I just thought about talking to you about Durham University's location, some information about rankings, what is unique about us, so the collegiate system, to tell you a bit more about our postgraduate courses, the entry requirements, and also I included some resources for you all. So when I applied to Durham, I had no idea where it was, and I didn't even pronounce the name correctly. I had no idea where it was. So I just thought it might be good to give you an introduction of where we actually are. So we are situated in the northeast of England. You can see it on the map. We are just 12 minutes by train from Newcastle and 3 hours by train from London. It's just on the main coastline. So we're not that far away from London. In Newcastle, that's the nearest international airport, so it's very well connected. And from Durham to Newcastle by car is just half an hour. So you are really well connected everywhere in the world with that airport. Durham itself is not as big as Newcastle, but it's quite small, but it's very nice and cozy. It's a very green and very safe city. I think it's really perfect for studying. And we also have some UNESCO World Heritage sites that I'll show you in a minute. We also have beautiful countryside and the beaches of the North Sea as well that are very close by. So it's a really nice place to live in. I can tell because I never left after 8 years. So, so this is like an aerial view of Durham city center. You can see there in the middle we have Durham Cathedral, which is a World UNESCO Heritage Site. So once you're a student at Durham, you start your studies, you matriculate, and then you graduate in the cathedral. So it's a very interesting experience. And I don't know if you know, but some of the scenes in Harry Potter movies were filmed in the cathedral. And also Professor McGonagall's office is in the cathedral. So that was just a fun fact for those Harry Potter fans. Opposite the cathedral, you can see a castle. So that's actually a student accommodation. So I'll explain a bit about colleges as well. And as you can see from this photo, it's a really small place. So there are only about 43,000 locals and about 20,000 students. So it's very much a student city. And more than 30% of students are international. So it's quite small, but it's very international in a way. I included more photos deliberately chosen with sunshine in them because we do have sunshine in the northeast of England. So you can see there some photos from the streets, shopping, top left, and then bottom right we have the cafes and restaurants and nice streets to walk on. And we have really scenic walking routes as well, so it's really a pleasure to be in the city. Also, even though it's so small, there are lots of things happening. So I just included some examples. There's a light festival called Lumiere that happens every 2 years in Durham. So basically there will be light installations everywhere in the city, and you would have a map and you would have to go and find all these installations. So that would be the top left and bottom right images. we also have Christmas markets, and for example, a rowing competition you can see in bottom left photo that happens every June. Well, this year it has been cancelled due to the pandemic, but I just wanted to show you that even though it's a small place, there are loads of things happening. In terms of rankings, so I know for Call Futuro applicants, I think you are required to include this information on your application. So Durham is a World Top 100 university. And actually, we have 3 subjects in World Top 10. That would be theology, archaeology, and geography. And then a total of 17 subjects in World Top 100. So any subject you would choose at Durham, we have over 90% of subjects ranked in top 10 in the UK. So any subject you would choose at Durham, you know that it's a really good degree, right? We are a member of Russell Group. I don't know if you are familiar with Russell Group, but basically this means that it's a university which is centered around research, and it's top research, cutting edge, most recent research from all around the world. So that's an indication that it's a really good university. We're also ranked joint 30th among the world's most international universities. And if you have a degree from Durham, then employers really like you because we are top 40 globally for employer reputation. And I did mention, I'll tell you why is Durham different from all the other universities you will see in the United Kingdom. I think what really distinguishes us apart is the collegiate system. So the easiest way to explain this, I don't know if you know Harry Potter houses, but that's basically it. That's the collegiate system. So you know how they have Gryffindor and Slytherin and so on. Then we have colleges, but we don't have just 4 houses. We have 17 of them. And you can see here in the photo, there's the castle I mentioned. So that's actually one of our oldest colleges, University College, and we call it the castle. And students actually live in their 3rd year. So it's one of the oldest student accommodations. And I'll just try to explain a bit what exactly is a college, because it's quite hard to grasp the concept. So the key word here is community. So it's not just the halls of residence as all the other universities have. It's not just a place to eat and sleep and that's it. It's actually a community where you can actually develop yourself as an individual and just form those relationships with other students around the university and the world. So you will have accommodation in college. Undergraduate students are guaranteed accommodation. Postgraduate students, there are less rooms for postgraduate students in university accommodation, but there is lots of private accommodation on the side as well. So as I say, we have 17 colleges, and some of them are older, like the University College, and they are more traditional. Students wear gowns to formal dinners, so we call formals. And then we have newer colleges which are more relaxed, laid back. They have modern facilities, they don't wear gowns, and so on. Some of our colleges are catered and some are self-catered options. And like I said, in a college, you would sleep there, you would eat there, but you also have this safe space to live and socialize, and you have the opportunity to develop personal skills like leadership, sports, arts. Each college has their own sports team, for example. So if you're really interested in trying a sport, you have the opportunity to do this. Unlike any other university where you have to be really good to join the university sports team, here we have a sport team for each college in addition to the university sports teams. So it just gives you that platform to get involved in as much as you want and just, you know, build yourself as a human being in addition to your degree. So I think when you graduate, employers really want to see exactly what you've done during your degree. They are not that interested. I mean, they are interested to see that, of course, you graduated from a very good university, but they want to see what you did in addition to that. And I think Durham offers a very good platform to do that. There are lots of personal support available in each college. So each college would have a student support officer, will have a principal who's often a professor. You'll have a gym, a bar, a cafe, a dining hall, library in each college, in addition to the university central facilities. And in each college, there will be students from all departments. And then in each department, there will be students from all colleges. So a college is a place for pastoral support. So there is no teaching done in a college, unlike Oxford and Cambridge. That would be the difference. That's just for support, social activities, and so on, extracurricular activities. In only one college out of 17, Ustinov, they are only postgraduate students. All the other colleges have a mixture of undergraduate and postgraduate students. So this will be Ustinov College. Of course, not all colleges look like this, but this is Ustinov, which is only for postgraduate students. And I included some more photos here, just to kind of give you a feel of how the college life is like. So top left, there is a college day. Each college has a day after exams in summer. And it's just like a festival vibe. You have like a stage where students come and perform, or you have some bands invited to perform. And that will be like throughout the day, you'll have this kind of festival, like a college day. And on the big picture on the right, you can see the dining hall in the university college in the castle, which is great. As you can see, they wear gowns because it's like a formal dinner. And bottom left, that's me during my master's. It was you guessed it, Harry Potter theme formal. And here I just thought of including some more information, some photos of different activities you can get involved in. So we have basketball, we have different sports available, rowing as well. Bottom left is a photo from a ball, a college ball, so you can get involved in that sort of social activity, music. There was a jazz session in St. Aidan's College, bottom right. And this is just an example of how some rooms look like. So it's a basic room with a bed, a desk, shelves, and so on. Each college has, like I said, a library and also social space for postgraduate students and undergraduate students. That would be pictured in St. Mary's College, top right. Each college has a dining hall. So the one on bottom left is from St. Aidan's College dining hall. If you're not fully catered, you have kitchen facilities to make your own meals. So that will be shared with other students on your corridor if you stay in college. And again, each college has a bar and like a social space. So the bottom right is in Ustinov College, again, is the bar area and the games area. So in terms of what degrees we offer, I just put them there. So we offer a broad range of courses. The only ones missing would be architecture and medicine, which transferred to Newcastle. All the other ones are there. And I think we allow students to tailor degrees according to their needs. So there's a lot of flexibility when you choose your degree modules. So some modules can be compulsory, but then you have optional modules you can choose depending on your interests. And I found that very interesting for me as a student. In terms of degree structure, I don't know how much you know about postgraduate study in the UK, but usually masters, taught masters or masters by research, they are 1 year. And then PhD degrees are usually around 3 years. So during a taught masters, for example, there will be a mixture of seminars as well as tutorials, fieldwork study, depending on what you applied for. I had a placement during my master's because I chose a module with a placement to get some work experience. So again, it's that sort of flexibility that allows you to just pick modules depending on your interests. At the end of your master's, you'll have a dissertation. So you have a dissertation supervisor who will help you with any questions you might have, and it will guide your research as well. So you'll have to submit that research dissertation. So that will be for a taught master's, and then for a master's by research, basically you have 1 year, but that 1 year is all dedicated to your dissertation. So you don't have any taught components. And then a PhD, again, is throughout these 3 years, you'll just work on your thesis, on your dissertation, you'll have supervisors to guide you and help you. I included there a handbook because it's really useful if you're thinking about doing a taught masters, for example. You can just have a look at which course you're interested in, and then you can see exactly the breakdown of modules you would take, how many credits they have, how it is going to be assessed, what sort of content it has, and so on. So I think that's a really good tool to have. This is another good tool. It's a course database. I included that link as well at the end in resources, but you can just go to postgraduate taught as I've shown here. You can just type whatever you're interested in, and then you'll come up with all this information on the side. You'll have the course summary, learning and teaching, entry requirements, fees as well, fees and fundings, career opportunities, and so on. So it's just a chance for you to explore the subject you're interested in and see what sort of things you will actually learn from your degree. Just quickly to tell you about the science faculty. So we have lots of departments that also communicate with each other. So we have lots of research in interdisciplinary teams. We were joined first in UK for research impact. So again, it's an indication of the high quality of research you have at Durham. I think they have really good links with industry as well. So you can do placements again in industry. And I included there some employers that can be linked to Durham as well. We also have great facilities in terms of the labs we have, and I just included some examples there, like virtual reality, eye tracking, motion capture, and so on. So you can see in these photos, I just included some photos from engineering labs. So that will be the first two photos at the top. We have a wind tunnel there as well. Then the photo bottom left, this is an EEG. So it's just basically for psychology students, just monitoring the brain activity. And here, bottom right, you can see a solar car, which was built by Durham students so that they can race with it at international competitions. And that's all as an extracurricular thing. So it's just a society they could join outside of their, degree, that they could just put in practice the things that they learned. So that was really well received as well. For business school, in case you're interested in business, I just wanted to mention that, again, we were joined first in the UK for research environment. And one interesting thing to mention here is that we are triple accredited. So less than 1% of business schools around the world are have triple accreditation. So that might be something of interest to you in case you're thinking about doing a master's or a PhD in business. We also have really good links with industry for business as well. Again, there might be courses or modules that have that sort of applicability into industry. And you have careers teams that help you with finding a job after you graduate as well. For art and humanities and social sciences and health, like I mentioned, we have 3 of these subjects in world top 10. So one of these is archaeology, and I just included some examples of the taught masters we have for archaeology in case you're interested in that. We also have theology and religion in world top 10, and geography as well. Anthropology as well. So again, for anthropology, we're joined first in UK for research. And those are some examples of some of the taught masters we have. So if you're interested in any of that, you can always go in the course database, type it in, and just see what sort of content these degrees will have. And with law, we have one of the world's leading schools of law as well. It's quite a brand new building. You can see from the photos, the lecture theaters as well. And that's also top 50 in the world. We have School of Government and International Affairs, so that's politics and international relations. 95% of those employed are in professional or managerial jobs after graduation, so that's an indication of how good these degrees are. I know conflict prevention and peace building and defense and development and diplomacy are very popular top subjects as well, top degrees. If you have more questions about all these programs that I'm showing you, I'm sure Martin will be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. So you'll have his contact details at the end of the presentation. And you can find more information, as I said, in the course database I mentioned. I just thought of including here a bit of information about what students do after they graduate. So what do our alumni do? And we have a very good career service at Durham. So of course, you might know that most of the universities in the UK have all sorts of student support available. So that will include disability support, counseling, career service, immigration. We have a students union. You have lots of activities to get involved in societies and so on. So we have a very good career service that looks after you. Even if you graduate, you will have, you could access their services. And we have a very extensive alumni network. So that can help you with your networking, or maybe if you're interested in a job at a certain company, if you have Durham graduates in that company, you could always network with them and kind of ask for some sort of feedback, support, and so on. And 89% of our postgraduate courses alumni are either in full-time or part-time work or study, or a combination of the two. So again, it tells you that having a degree with Durham really enables you to get the job you want or do the career you want after you graduate. Now, in terms of entry requirements, so what exactly do you need to be successful in your application at Durham? So I included the undergraduate there as well in case anyone was interested. But you would need, you know, the IB or a recognized foundation program because the Titolo de Bachiller is not recognized as direct entry. But for postgraduate, you would need to have completed a licenciatura of at least 4 years from a recognized university in Colombia with a GPA, like an overall score of 3.8 or 4 or higher. So that depends on which university you graduated from. If you're interested to study an MBA, I know Colfuturo doesn't cover MBA, but I just included the information there in case anyone was interested. You need to have had at least 3 years of managerial experience. And then if you're interested in a PhD, you need to have completed a maestria, so like a master's degree in Colombia from a good university, and have completed it with good grades as well. Grades depend on which course you want to apply to. And of course, you'll need an English language evidence. So that will be, for example, an Ielts between 6.5 or 7, depending on which course you want to apply to. So if you have specific questions about which English level you would need, please don't hesitate to contact me, because I have a link I can share with you all about the breakdown of English language results you would need depending on the department you're applying to. So yeah, in short, you would need a licenciatura with that overall degree and an English language if you apply for a master's, or an English language test and a maestria to apply for a PhD. It's quite straightforward. And I just thought of including this information here because as we are a partner of Colfuturo, I just wanted to mention that, of course, Colfuturo beneficiaries will receive a 20% discount on their tuition fees for the duration of their whole program. So for 1 year, if it's a master's degree, or 3 years if it's a PhD, of course, as I said, that excludes MBA. And also I wanted to mention that we will offer a full tuition fee scholarship for one Colfuturo beneficiary to a taught postgraduate program. So you don't really need to apply for that as well. Durham will just take into consideration all post-future applicants for taught postgraduate program and offer that full tuition scholarship to one of them. So again, if you have questions about that, you'll have my contact details as well. And as I mentioned, I'll have some resources for you. So I think we will circulate the slides at the end in PDF format, so you can click on the links. So I included their international prospectus if you're interested to read more about Durham and each degree we offer. This is for 2020, so the one for 2021 will be uploaded shortly. You have the course database here. Again, like I mentioned, if you're interested in any particular degree, you can just look it up and see the content and what you need for it. I thought it was really interesting to include this here because we had lots of live or recorded events in different departments and in different colleges. So that gives you, if you want to have a look there, it gives you more insight and more detailed information on departments or different colleges. We have a YouTube channel as well, so we've uploaded some videos of how university life will be in 2020 now in September, October, and how the campus life will look like now with the pandemic. 360 degrees tours, this is really good if you want to have a virtual tour in Durham. If you, of course, you might not be able to travel now just to have a look. So that gives you a really good indication of how the science side looks like, how different departments look like, and so on. And then if you're on social media, it will be good to follow Durham University and the Durham students, just to kind of keep up with what's happening, see photos from Durham, and see how students usually enjoy their life in Durham. If you want any other resources, you can contact me. So that's my email address right there. I have WhatsApp as well, so please feel free to message me if I can help with anything at all. We can even schedule a one-to-one appointment if you would like to ask me more detailed questions about how life is like, how much the cost of living is, or I don't know, what sort of concerns you have by coming to Durham and so on. Remember, I've been through this myself, so I would be able to share that experience with you. We also have a Latin American Society on Facebook, in case you're interested to see what sort of events they were up to, well, last year mostly, and this year until the pandemic hit. You can also chat with current students. So we have a Unibuddy link. If you just go on there, you'll see different profiles of students from different departments and different countries. And you can just chat with them, just ask them how life is like in Durham for them, how their department is like, and so on. And then, as I said, if you have questions for Martin, my colleague, he's the recruitment manager for Faculty of Arts and Humanities and Social Sciences and Health. That's his email address. And then if you want to explore more just general web pages, that will be our link there. And yes, I hope, yeah, it's half an hour, so hopefully that's okay. I just included there some photos when I finished my undergraduate degree. That was on the left, so you can see I was in the cathedral getting my degree. That was the chancellor shaking my hand. And then on the right-hand side is a photo of the day I graduated from my master's. My friends came over without telling me, so they just I had a surprise from them. They just came to congratulate me. So yeah, it was a really, really good time at Durham. As you can tell, I've never left basically, and it really kind of shaped my future and changed my perspective quite a lot coming from a different country.
Anna, thank you so much for this presentation and for sharing your experience. Now we are going to do a Q&A with the questions they've been sending in the chat. The first one is from Michael, and he wants to know if you accept TOEFL.
Yes, we do accept TOEFL. Oh, sorry. So if I can send the link round, I'll just make a note to send the link round of what sort of tests we accept. So we do accept Ielts, but in addition to Ielts, we accept TOEFL with a certain boundary. So you need to achieve at least, I can't remember from the top of my head, like 100 something in TOEFL. We also accept Cambridge. So when I applied, I had Cambridge. So again, if you have the relevant grades, we accept that as well. So I'll send a link to all the English tests we accept.
Yes, thank you, because they're also wondering if you accept academic or general IELTS.
I don't know if on the top of my head now. I know usually it's like a CELT IELTS we accept, but we might be able to accept the academic one. I'll have a look, and that will certainly be included in the link I'll circulate. So you will say exactly what we accept and what we don't, because we also added some new tests we can accept due to the pandemic. We included some more tests to our list of acceptable tests.
Okay. The next question is also from Michael, and he's wondering what is the average to maintain the scholarship that you give?
The average to maintain the scholarship?
I think it refers to the score, like to your like the GPA. When
you actually apply, that's GPA, right? So if you have the GPA we mentioned between 3.8, 4 or higher, then that's enough for you to actually apply to us. So there's nothing else. We don't kind of look at all the students that apply and just take the top ones. Like if you meet these requirements, you have a place. In terms of scholarship, again, you have to apply to Call Futuro, and Call Futuro has its own ways of measuring your application and deciding whether you are successful or not. So if you receive that Call Futuro funding, then Durham will just offer one full tuition fee funding for one person. But I don't know exactly, I don't think they're looking at GPA necessarily. They are just going to assess the application and then see which one is the strongest with the personal statement and everything, and then give that one full scholarship to that one student. I don't think there's a requirement to have, I don't know, a GPA above 4 point something. There's not other requirement. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. The next one is, what is an average of the education costs and fees?
Yes, so I don't have it right here, but for a postgraduate degree, it ranges between £21,000 per year to maybe £30,000 per year, but that depends on which course you apply to. So if it's a business course, that is likely to be much more expensive. But you know how I mentioned several times the course database. When you look at your particular degree there, you can see the fees and funding on the side. So if you click on that, it shows you exactly what the tuition fee is for your year of entry. But it usually ranges between 21,000, 30,000, anywhere in between. That's for the tuition fee. As for living costs, if you're staying in college, again, it depends on which college it is. So if it's fully catered, then it will be a bit more expensive than if it is self-catered, because you'll have 3 meals a day. And if it's an ensuite, for example, if you have the bathroom in your room, then that, again, is likely to be more expensive. So that also ranges for the whole academic year between £5,000 and maybe £9,000. Like I said, it ranges between what sort of room you get, what sort of package you get. If you don't want to stay in college, I didn't stay in college when I applied just because I really didn't have funding. I didn't have the money. I just stayed in private accommodation. But that doesn't mean you can't get involved in college. So do get involved as much as you can, because that's the whole experience, Durham difference, right? That's what makes it special. And you can stay in private accommodation, and you can find quite cheap rents. So in the Northeast is much cheaper than London, for example. The cost of living is much cheaper. You can easily pay like £400 for rent, maybe, and you can add utilities and food on top of that. But it's not really that expensive. And even transportation, Durham being so small, you can easily walk anywhere, or you can have a bike, although it's a bit hilly. Or if you have your campus card, you can just pay £1 for a bus ticket for the whole day. So costs are quite low. Let's say it depends on how much you spend or how you spend, but when I was a student, I could easily live with 600, 700 pounds a month. It depends on how you budget. You can also find student job. I had some student jobs just to have some extra pocket money on the side, but it's much better than in the South, for example, or in London.
Great. The next question is from Luisa, and she's wondering, some masters require academic recommendation. How does the university receive professional recommendations?
So when you apply for a master's, there will be a portal. You just basically create a profile on that portal, and you'll have a login and the password. And then it's basically just like a checklist. You have to say your name, your country, your personal details, and then what sort of qualifications you have. And then if you have that qualification translated by a legalized translator, upload that on the portal. And then when it asks for a personal statement, so that's when you say why you want to apply for that course and why they should pick you. Again, that's like some sort of very short essay saying why you applied to Durham and why that course. And then when it asks you for academic references, you'll need 2 academic references. Again, you can upload that academic reference to the portal. So that will be from maybe one of your teachers, will just have to be signed by them or something like this. So it's just a checklist, you just upload, and once you have the information, you can just submit your application. Even if you don't have the academic reference when you apply, you can still submit your application, and then we'll tell you, oh, thank you for submitting your application. We still need to see 2 academic references from you, so you can upload those at a later stage. So even if you don't have everything together at once, you can upload as you go. Of course, it's better to have everything at the beginning, but just so you know.
Thank you. The next question is, when does the application process open for 2021 and 2022?
So usually application processes open in the autumn. So now it will open in October. So from October onwards, you can have a look at degrees, and you can just pick one and make an application for one. I believe you can make an application for more than one at Durham for a master's course, for example, for a taught master's if you're interested. And there is no particular deadline to apply for masters unless you apply for business analytics or some of the business school programs. But for all the other programs, there's no deadline. But you do have to apply in plenty of time to let the admissions process your application and process everything in time for you to receive a visa to come here and so on. So even though there's no particular deadline, you'll need to apply in plenty of time to allow for all this to happen, like a month or 2 before you actually study the course. And basically every autumn, like every October, that's the start of the next cycle. If that makes sense.
The next question is, if the student gets the 100% scholarship, can she apply to the Colfuturo Crédito Beca?
Well, I think they need to apply first for Colfuturo to be considered for a full tuition fee scholarship. And then if you receive that full tuition fee scholarship, then you wouldn't have to pay it back to Colfuturo when you come back. So it's the other way around. You'll need to first apply to Colfuturo to be able to access that one full scholarship.
Yes. The next one is, most courses require to pay a deposit fee after a certain time of the acceptance. Is it possible to delay the payment until we get a response from the Colfuturo loan?
Yes, so it is possible as long as you mention, so I think the application will ask you if you applied for any scholarship, and then when you submit it, you have to say, yes, I applied to Colfuturo, and that's when I received my results. And that means that you don't have to pay the deposit straight away. It can be delayed until you find out whether you got the scholarship or not. The same applies, some business school programs have an application fee. But just business school, and that's just £60. That's the application fee. And again, you'll need to apply. You need to pay that application fee even if you don't know whether you got the scholarship or not, if that makes sense. But that's just for business.
Anna, thank you so much for the presentation, for answering all of the questions. If you have any further questions, you can contact Anna or you can contact Martin.
Yeah.
And they will help you with any of your questions and any of the personal cases you can have.
Yes.
And the application process. I don't know if you want to say something else before finishing the webinar.
As I said, please feel free to contact me with any questions you might have, and I'm very, very eager to have a discussion with you, a conversation. In case you have more questions, don't be afraid to ask. We can always set up like a one-to-one informal chat and just answer more of your questions. So don't, just feel free to contact me. I'm very happy to help.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everyone that's online right now. Gracias por estar aquí el día de hoy y que tengan un buen fin de semana.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.